اوكي ونقول كمان السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alright, so Malcolm, what's wrong with you? You guys are okay?
Yes.
You don't look
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
You don't look okay. Is that an overload?
No.
Did you feel that it's going to be too serious and it's going to be an overload now? I hope I didn't convey this message indirectly to you. Did I?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Seriously?
Seriously, yes.
All right. So now we're going to talk about the first part in this test, which is the speaking part, right? Why do I care about this part? Because most of the people find both the speaking and the writing sections are the most challenging ones, or the most challenging sections. And unfortunately, they find it really difficult to keep on talking for a long time, especially if you know that in the writing, in the speaking test, you will be asked in task 2 to keep on talking for almost 2 continuous minutes. Some people say that 2 continuous minutes is a short time, but when it comes to the exam, and when you're in the exam situation, and you're not very familiar with the topic given to you, you may find 2 minutes are a very long time. So let me introduce the speaking test to you. In the speaking test, we'll have, as I told you, in the speaking test, we'll have 3 sections, which is section 1, section 2, and section 3. Section 2 and section 3. There are only 3 sections. Section 1, we call it the warm-up section, because this section is the section where the interviewer tries to break the ice between him or herself and the examiner. And the test takers. So they usually talk about very commonly used topics or frequently used topics. Like, for example, they can talk to you about your neighborhood or your hometown, your family, your hobbies, your most favorite dish, your most interesting way or style of putting on your outfit, or your where do you come from, your origins, your country, or general topics that we usually talk about, shopping in supermarkets, and your hobbies, your free time. So this topic is the easiest part, where you can find a lot of subheadings or subtitles to talk about, many topics to talk about, okay? So there, it is a very rich, usually most of the test takers find it very easy, or the easiest part. This part consists of 5 or 6 questions maximum. Like, for example, first the examiner asks you, what's your name? How would you like me to call you? Whether you're a student or you work, and sometimes they ask you, where do you work? Okay, then she starts asking you, when she gives you a notification that this is the beginning of your exam, which is section 1, and then she starts asking, for example, what is your neighborhood? Okay, what is your neighborhood? By the way, the word neighborhood doesn't mean that you need to talk about your neighbors. Neighborhood means the place where you live. All right, so asking about the neighborhood means asking about the place where you live. So if you say, for example, Aguza, then you'd have band score 5. If you say, I live in Aguza, this means that you will get band score 5.5. Well, if you say, well, I live in Aguza, which is located in the downtown Cairo, then at that time you can easily get band score 7 and above. All right, this is just the modal sample of how is the examiner evaluated. All right? So you better form good, nice sentences. And we're going to extend, or I'm going to extend my speech of how to form good and nice sentences where you can have the highest score bank. Okay, now I'm giving just general points. Later on, I'll go further in depth. Okay, so this is regarding part 1. Regarding part 2, most of the people find this part the most difficult or the most challenging part. Why? Because in this part or in this section, you will be given a cue card. And when I say a cue card, I mean a card, a board card that would be given to you in which it has a question. A question is written, okay? And then the examiner is going to give you another blank card, and she will ask you to plan your ideas for a minute. And then start talking for continuously 2 minutes. Okay, you will have to talk about the same question that was given to you in the cue card. Then this cue card question here, this is called the cue card question. Cue card. And it consists of 3 minutes, one for planning or brainstorming, and the other for 2 minutes for talk, and 2 minutes to talk. And there will be a recording. She will play a recorder, okay? And they will record your answer to refer back whenever the grading time comes. They will listen to this answer once more, and they will give you the related grading, whether 5, 6, 7, or whatever, okay? Okay, what are the questions related to this part? For those who had this exam before, can you guys tell me what did you get in the cue card, if you still remember? Mazen, it was a month before, right?
It was in August. It was about the extreme usage of smartphone in daily life.
Extreme usage of the phones?
Of the electronic devices, yes.
Okay, that's an interesting topic. Very interesting one. Yes. Okay, do you remember the questions given to you?
Yes, I guess that they asked about the role of the parents, the role of the parents to how to control the usage of their children's this device, because it may affect them.
Excellent.
And also he asked me that once how I'm not able to use my smartphone in a special time, and how I manage this time. I told him about my military examination day, that we was not allowed to take our telephones inside.
So it's so good because you have already passed this experience, yes? And this is one very important part, Mazen, that I want to clarify. That would be really good if you talk about some experience that you have already lived. It would be much better because some people try their best to find an answer to the question, and that's good. You have to make up, even if you don't have, for example, if the examiner asks you about your, talk to me about your latest trip that you went to, and you don't have any trips in mind, you've never been into a trip, then all you have to do is not to say, sorry, I didn't go to any trip recently. That would be, your mark would be, you would be doomed if you gave this answer, simply because you're not there to say I didn't have any trips. You have to make up. But my advice to you is, if you have a real life experience, please try to recall it and talk about it. It would be much easier for you to express yourself, express your thoughts and ideas easily, or more easily, okay? طيب, that's really good. That sounds interesting. نفهم من كلام مازن إنه the cue card not only has a question. You will find here a question and some bullets to talk about. Some related 3 or 4 questions to talk about. So again, for example, I'm going to give you an example now. Describe, well, talk about your most favorite subject at school. Make sure you talk or you answer the following questions. What this subject was? Why did you like it most? What is the most memorable thing you still remember in regards with this topic or subject? Okay? So now I have 4 main points to talk about. And I have to plan for answering these 4 questions in 2 continuous minutes. Imagine, I will try now to play the role of an examiner, of an Ielts test taker. I would say, well, I loved science because it's an interesting subject. Mr. Ahmed used to teach me when I was in grade 3. I find it really interesting. Now I answered the 4 questions and it took maybe 30 seconds. What are you going to do in the other 1 minute and 30 seconds? There are still 1 minute and 30 seconds. What are you going to do there? Remember, number 1, this is a language test in which you have to show your muscles. Okay, show up. This is the time to show up. To show up your words, your vocabulary, your pronunciation, your grammar structure, and your fluency as well. Okay? So please, whenever you have a chance to do this, make the best out of this chance. All right? So now I'm going to give you some techniques by which you can do a very good brainstorming. And brainstorming means planning your ideas, and some tips to extend and stretch your answers so that you don't run short of time or your time won't be too much for your answer. Okay? But just again, moving to the same point, I don't want to distract you guys. Now we knew what this section 2 is about. Okay? Section 3, what is it usually about? Section 3 is an extension to section 2. They usually give you the same topic, or they usually ask you about the same topic. But in section 3, you won't have a cue card and you won't have a chance to write anything or to brainstorm your ideas. The chance that is going to be given to you is to just a ping pong question. Take a question, give me the answer back. Take a question, give me the answer back. It's a ping pong question like task 1, exactly. Okay? So what am I supposed to do here? If my question was about my favorite subject, all right? In task 3, they are going to take your thinking process into a higher level of thinking, which we call, the academic people know this, it's called critical thinking, in which you will be asked to think like a philosopher. She won't ask you to do this, but in task 2, you will be asked to think like a philosopher, to take your thinking or to take your thoughts above the normal and everybody's thought, okay? You have to think critically, to evaluate things, to give your own opinion about it, or to think like above the normal people do, the common people do, okay? So for example, if she gives you a question like, to what extent do you believe that joining a college mustn't be obligatory for students? Does it have anything to do with the topic that was mentioned in the cue card? Surely, Yes, because in the cue card they were talking or discussing the subject that you liked most when you were young. And now she's discussing another thing, which is, you think that the university education should be obligatory education? Then it has something to do with your passion to the subjects you love, right? So who can give me an answer to this question? Turn on your microphones, please. And someone else rather than Mazen. Riham, is your microphone working or not yet? Riham and Zainab. Hey guys. Not yet. Right. يلا يا عم. Mr. Positive.
Yes.
يلا يا عم. Think positively now.
Okay. The question again, please.
Yes. To what extent do you agree that, okay, Zainab and Riham, no problem. Inshallah, you will be able to fix it. Next time, make sure that you come with it fixed. Okay, no problems with the microphone next time. My question, Yamr, to what extent do you believe that the university education should not be an obligatory education? Obligatory, يعني forced.
Yes, yes.
To what extent do you agree with that?
Should not or should be?
Should not be obligatory.
Okay.
طلع الفيلسوف اللي جوه بقى.
Actually, I see that the high education should be obligatory for everyone and each one of us. It's very essential, I think, for us from many prospects or many scopes. First, from a scientific part of view, anybody has his interest in a specific part of science, or advancing his knowledge, advancing his level of education. Second, I think from social part of view, I think in the high school level we can know about each other more. We can know about different people, different culture. These are the information in my brain now. I don't know what I can say more.
Believe me or not, I couldn't figure out your point of view. You mean to say that it should be obligatory or it shouldn't be?
Should be obligatory.
It should be obligatory.
Yes.
But I couldn't get your reasons again. Would you please clarify it more? Why it should be obligatory? Obligatory يعني يتغصب عليهم بالغصب بالقوة.
Mandatory, obligatory, mandatory. Yes.
Obligatory.
Mandatory or obligatory. Yes, I understand.
Okay.
Yes,
yes. Again, try to clarify your point of view. I couldn't get it.
It should be obligatory or mandatory. First, I have to brainstorm. Okay, I didn't brainstorm why it should be obligatory or mandatory, but let me clarify my point of view. My point of view for everyone need to advance his level of knowledge, level of experience. Everyone need to learn more and more. That's why I see that the high school education should be obligatory. This is number one. Number two, I'm talking about from social perspective. I see that the high school can make us more social, make us know about different cultures, know about different people, new people. These are some points which I have now.
Okay, but you know what? You went far away from my question, because my question was about the university education, high school education. High school education doesn't mean that the second.
Yes, university education, yes.
University education. So
I don't know if my answer is away from the question, but
no, it's okay. It's okay for the first time. Never mind about this. That's
yeah.
so courageous of you to go ahead and give me an answer right now. That's fine. No problem.
Right.
And I know that by time, each one of you will get used to the whole atmosphere and surrounding, and it takes some time to get used to it and to each other as well. That's fine. No problem at all. Okay?
No problem.
Also, I will teach you some techniques to organize your thoughts, okay? And not to speak just randomly, whatever comes to your mind to be spit out. You better arrange your ideas and then speak them up, okay? And there is a very nice technique for doing this. This would be really beneficial for you guys, especially the representatives and the public speakers. If you follow this technique, you will find that it's worth $1 million. All right, but now I'm not gonna take $1 million. Okay, so let's move to, we're done with section 3, right? Okay, now let's move to something else, which is called the band score descriptors. Band score descriptors means what are they evaluating me on? If I am the examiner and Rida gave me an answer, then how would I evaluate Rida's answer? Well, if you look at my board, can you see the board well? No, I don't think so. Here? Yes. Well, you will have something called your LR and your GRA and your fluency and your CC. 4 things by which you will have to, by which you will be evaluated. LR, lexical resource. Lexical resource, which means the vocabulary that you're using. Whether you're using high range of vocabulary, low range of vocabulary, okay? And whether you're using
Phrasal verbs.
Sorry?
Phrasal verbs.
Yeah, we're so near to use these. This is what is related to the grammar, all right? So when it comes to vocabulary here, use wide range of vocabulary and avoid low range ones. Number 2, don't repeat yourself over and over again. So please, if you use one word, make sure you don't use this word again, okay? Try to use paraphrasing, synonyms, antonyms. And the word, by the way, the word synonym means the meaning in one word, another meaning to the same word, okay? Synonyms. Antonyms means the opposites in one way, all right? So, for example, if I want to say, okay, if I want to give you the word give, can you find another synonym to the word give?
Bring.
Right.
Bring? No. It's not.
Right.
Provide.
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 Very good. Provide is an excellent example or an excellent synonym.
Or you can mention share.
Share?
Share.
Give,
yes.
Share. Kind of right. All right. So here, this is the meaning of the word synonym. So synonym is another meaning or another word that gives the same meaning in one word. Antonym is the opposite. Okay? So number 1 is the lexical resource, which is the vocabulary used. Number 2 is a big story that you have to focus with me, please. Because from number 2, we'll have to talk a lot about many things. Number 1, you have to use a variety of sentences. When I say variety of sentences, I mean that you cannot keep on using short sentences. Short sentences means that you will be stopping your examiner each and every after every period you're putting at the end of the sentence. So, for example, imagine that if she asks me to introduce yourself, and I start saying, well, my name is Hind. I'm an English teacher. I've been working in this field for around 17 years right now. I've been working as an Ielts trainer since 5 years. I've taught more than 2,000 students, Ielts students. They were able to get a band score 7 and above in a very short time. How do you like this presentation? Is it good?
Fine.
Huh?
Fine.
Fine. How much would you give it out of 5? Oh, sorry, out of 9. I gave you the right answer.
I think it's so briefy.
So?
Briefy.
Brief. Okay.
Yes.
It's worth band score 5, not more than this. And why? Because I kept on stopping my examiner with every period I put. Short chunks of sentences are given. Okay? My name is Hind. I'm an English teacher. I'm an Ielts trainer. I have been teaching blah, blah, blah. Okay? So these are short chunks. There's no fluency. And now compare what I've just said with what I'm going to say right now. Well, my name is Hind Al-Khayal, and I've been teaching English for around 17 years. Then I moved to teaching the Ielts exam. Since that time, I've been teaching many students, including around 2,000 students who were incredibly able to achieve their score band. Now, tell me, what would my band score be?
At
Of course,
least
it will be high.
Of course, very high. Why? Because it has a lot of connectors, which we call conjunctions. Conjunctions are words used to join sentences together. Sentences, clauses, phrases together. Instead of making short sentences, I try to delay my period, take it away as far as possible. But not that far, because more than 4 clauses put together may distract your examiner, okay? And may get, may be a little bit difficult for the examiner to understand what you want to say. So do not exceed the number of clauses put together, more than 4 or 5 clauses a time, all right? And I will teach you how to make, or what do I mean by variety of sentences. This would be a separate lesson. Then variety of sentence means simple sentences. I am him. This is a simple sentence. Compound sentences and complex sentences. We have 3 types of sentences that we have to learn. So when I say, my name is Hind Al-Khayal, and I've been teaching English for around 17 years. Now these are 2 sentences put together, joined using the word and this is a compound sentence, okay? Since my students are very enthusiastic, they were able to achieve their desired band score easily. This is a complex sentence. We'll talk about this later, don't worry about it, okay? But again, you have to learn that simple sentences are not very much required, neither in the speaking test nor in the writing test. Speaking, writing, bad, okay? Okay, so let's move to something else, using connectors. Here, when I talked about compound and complex, I talked about something called conjunctions. Conjunctions are words to join clauses and sentences together. When I talk about connectors, connectors are usually used to connect paragraphs and ideas together. This is what I mean when I say connectors. Again, when I say connectors, I mean words or phrases that are used to connect ideas and paragraphs together, not sentences or words together, okay? How's that? My first paragraph, for example, if I'm talking about the benefits of the advantages of education, okay? Or the advantages of special schools in my country, all right? Private schools instead of special, sorry. Private schools. The advantages of private schools in my country, okay? And in the first paragraph, I talked about the economical advantage. And in the second paragraph, if I want to talk about the, in the second paragraph, if I want to talk about the social advantages of having private schools, how would I join these two paragraphs together? Anyone can tell me? What should I, or how should I start the beginning of the second paragraph? Anyone?
Hindi, can you mention again the question regarding the second paragraph?
Again, if I mention the advantages or the financial advantages of having private schools in my country, and now I want to move to the social or the social advantages of having private schools in my country. So what is the joining word that I should use, or the connector that I should use to connect both paragraphs together?
Okay. Do you want us to mention just one word?
One word or one phrase. Yes, to start.
Okay. If I will talk first about the finance advantages of a private school, for example, I will mention that if your child join a private school, we will have a lot of, you need only one word, huh?
Yes, yes.
Consequently, I can say consequently.
Consequently, if you're giving one cause and one effect, right? So if you're going
yes,
to mention the
or subsequently.
All right, subsequently is okay. So cause and effect, that would be good if you use consequently or subsequently. We can use another word, which is, for example, if you've used first in the second paragraph, then in the first paragraph, then second could be the proper word to be used in the second paragraph. Okay?
Yes.
Also, yes, Jan.
Yes, we can say on the other hand, for example, we can say we have talked about this. So if we're gonna talk about this, I can say blah blah blah. I think this is the conjunction, right?
Yeah, it is some kind of a connector, but on the other hand is used when you're giving different point of view. So for example, if you're mentioning the advantages in the first paragraph, then in the second paragraph, if you're going to mention the disadvantages, you can say on the other hand, or however.
However.
Yes, on the one hand, on the other hand. All right?
I can mention hand, I can mention besides. Besides.
Very good. Okay.
If it's,
yes. In the first paragraph, I can say to begin with. And then in the second paragraph, I can say moreover. What's more? In addition to that.
Addition.
Yes. You can say therefore, if you're giving reasons, one reason and another effect. Okay? So my point of view now, or what I want you to understand, is that you have to give some words that connect the paragraphs together in order to make your paragraphs connected, which gives the impression of the flow of the language, that you don't have a problem with your fluency, even if in your speaking or in your writing. Okay? Let me give you some examples of these connectors. Right, let me erase this part.
Yes.
So we can say, firstly, and this is one of the easiest ones we can use, first, second, because firstly, secondly, thirdly is going to be used in something else. Second and third. Or you can say to start with.
But Hind, by the way, what is the difference between first, second, third, and firstly, secondly?
All
What's
right.
the difference between it?
Certainly. Okay, I'm going to tell you the difference. Okay, you can use, if you're giving cause and effect, as I said before, you can use therefore. This is why. Based on what is given above. Thus, okay, etc. If you're giving different opinions, you can say, however. On the other hand, on the contrary, and if you're writing or if you're going to wrap something up, you can start with, or writing the last paragraph in your essay, you can use to conclude, as a conclusion, or to wrap up, etc. Many things, many other things to be used, but you know, these are the most important phrases to connect your ideas and your paragraphs. You on the board? Okay. You guys are taking notes, aren't you? Are you taking notes?
Yes.
Okay. So again, it's your choice to take notes, or you can easily wait until I send the video and you take whatever notes you would like to. Okay? But I like good students, very hardworking students. Take notes, please. Please take notes. Okay. So
I deserve a chocolate, right?
sorry? Chocolate? Oh, I wish I could. Seriously,
Yeah.
I wish I
Where's
could.
mine?
I will definitely meet you guys one day, inshallah. As I always do with my students, by the way. After the last class in every course, I arrange for a public meeting, like you and your family can gather up, we can gather up, a very nice family meeting where we can have lunch together and join any of the istirahas. But I'm afraid that you're not here in Riyadh too. You're in Jeddah, right?
I'm in Jeddah, right?
Yeah, okay. Okay. So, think about it. Come
but
to
if this day on your expense, I can come, okay? No
oh,
problem.
sure. Definitely. It will be on my expense. Don't worry.
I'm just kidding.
Thank you. So, now let's move to something else, which is watch the tense of the question. This is quite important. Watch the tense of the question means she's asking you about, well, now, tell me about the most memorable event that happened to you in your childhood. Then which tense should you be using?
Past perfect.
Past?
Perfect.
Excellent. Who is that? Mason? No, it's not Mason. Who is that? Who? Mason?
I'm the one.
Mason. It doesn't show on the screen who's talking. That's weird. Okay, so yes, it's past perfect because we know that you have to learn the usage of each and every tense. Past perfect tense is used to express an event that happened in the past and it's still affecting the present time. So if it's something that happened in my old days and my old childhood and I still keep it in my memory, it's still affecting my memory and my feelings, then I must use the present perfect tense, right? Or the past perfect tense, depends on how old it is. Also, I can use the past simple tense if it's kind of near event, okay? And there is no much duration passed since I left the childhood phase, okay? So, if she's asking you about your future dreams, which tense should you use? Your
I
future
will.